Hello, my name is Anna and I'm a makeup artist. I currently live in Georgia, but I'm from Virginia and I work in Virginia a lot. And I did my own wedding makeup, so this is gonna be how I did my own makeup on my wedding day. So if you wanna do yours, it gives you an idea. And as a makeup artist, I've always gotten the question of, like when I was engaged, everyone would ask, who's gonna do your wedding makeup? Like, you know, do you trust anyone? Like, who's gonna do yours? But I always plan to do it myself because I know my own face and I know what I like. So to me, it sounded more stressful to put that trust into someone else than to do it myself. So first, I'm going to use the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. And I like to take a damp beauty blender and just kind of shove it in there and get kind of coated. And then I just put that all over my face. And I'm gonna do my eyes first. But I like to let this kind of soak in while I'm doing my eyes. And I'm a little broken out right now, but it's perfect because I was really broken out on my wedding day. But you know what? It didn't matter. And I think that it's really common for people to be broken out because they're anxious and, I don't know, ate a lot of ice cream. Okay, so I'm gonna go and do my eyes first. I'm gonna do the Urban Decay Primer Potion on my eyelids to kind of even out the skin tone. I'm just going to pat that out with my finger. I have really, really veiny eyelids, so this is really helpful if you have like veins or discoloration. Okay, so now we have like a really nice clean canvas to go off of. I'm gonna do just a quick powder. I'm gonna use the Hourglass Diffused Light Ambient powder. It's just like a skin powder, but it has a little glow in it. And I am gonna use this all over the face later. But I like to kind of set the lids. So we got married in July and my birthday was actually 2 days before our wedding, and I really, really wanted this eyeshadow palette from Natasha Denona. It's the Biba palette. So, you know, I was heavily hinting to my now husband and he got it for me. So I got this right before my wedding. I was so excited because it was what I wanted to wear. So I personally wanted to do an all matte look. I feel like it depends on what you're going for, but for me, I felt like all matte was more modern. So I went all matte, all neutral. So I'm going to first go in with the shade Tusk, which is kind of like a beigey neutral. It's not a super warm tone. And I'm gonna take that on like a fluffy brush and just take that into the crease of my eye. Windshield wiper motions, so just like back and forth. And I wanted it to be perfectly neutral. Like, I don't look good when it's too warm or too cool. So I wanted something right in the middle. Okay, so that just kind of starts framing out the eye, and then I'm gonna take a MAC 217 and I'm gonna go into the shade Freckle. Apparently this shade is supposed to be the color of, she was like, Natasha Denona was like, oh, we studied freckles and it's based off the color of real freckles, which sounds cute but doesn't make any sense. So I'm doing kind of the same motion that I was doing before, but just a little bit lower, a little bit more concentrated. So, like that. And when you're doing eyeshadow, you always want to look ahead. Like, I'm looking down into a mirror to blend, but then I look ahead to double check that I still like how it looks when I'm looking straight at you. Because for me, my eyes are really hooded, so most of that eyeshadow work that I do will disappear when my eyes are open. So next I'm gonna take a brush that's even smaller, and I'm gonna go in with this color Cocoa, which is just like a little bit of a darker kind of chocolate brown. And I'm gonna take that into this outer corner. And then kind of pulling that into where my lash line is. So that really starts to like deepen it up and give you that definition in your lash line. And it's always helpful to go back with something a little more fluffy and just blend across the whole thing. So the next thing that I like to do is, I didn't want to do any kind of harsh liner that would be like really defined. I wanted definition, but I didn't want it to be like, oh hey, look at that eyeliner. So what I did is, so first I took a gel liner. This is from Bobbi Brown, just the black gel liner, and a really teeny tiny angled brush. And I'm going to do super thin line across the top. Okay, and then I'm gonna go with this color. It's called Seed, which is like a little bit of a darker brown. And then I'm gonna take this flat, all my brushes are super disgusting. They're clean, they just got messed up. But this kind of flat eyeliner brush, and kind of run that along the top to kind of buff out that black line so it's not harsh. And these eyeshadows are really nice and they don't have a lot of fallout, but doing your eyes first gives you just like an easier canvas to work with, because if anything falls onto your face, you can just clean it up. I'm just gonna do the same thing on the other eye. So I have the liner and then buffing out with the darker brown. Okay, so then I'm gonna show you another technique, and it's gonna look really dumb and you're gonna be like, wow, do you even know how to do makeup? But I promise it looks good. So I'm gonna take that same dark brown that I've been using to blend out the black, and I'm going to just stamp on as if I'm creating a wing, like a winged liner, and connect it and like drag it out, and it looks really severe. Just trust me on this one. And then I'm gonna take this fluffier, but it's still a pretty precise brush, and I'm just gonna blend the crap out of that. You can take a bigger one Okay, so it should look like that, which obviously looks like a mess. But the next thing you do, so we take our wipe and we're just gonna hook it around our finger, and I'm gonna go underneath the eye, and I'm just gonna clean up that line. So I want just like the tiniest wing, where I don't even want it to look like a wing, I just want it to give me that kind of lift. Do the same thing over here. It's another reason why doing your eyeshadow first can be really helpful, because then you can always just clean up. You can make mistakes. If you want to play around with doing a winged eyeliner, this is a great place to start. Okay, so that's what we're left with. So the eyeshadow on the top, I'm still gonna do some on the bottom later, but the eyeshadow on the top is done, and the eyeliner. So I'm gonna do a coat of mascara. This is the mascara from Blinc, which is a tubing mascara. So when you cry, it will never ever run. When you get it wet though, like fully wet, like in the shower wet, it like balls up and falls off. So it's actually like really gentle, like it just kind of falls off. It doesn't, you don't have to like scrub at your eyes to get it to come off. But if you cry, it's not gonna, like if you cry or if you sweat, it's not gonna smudge. It's not like a good mascara in the sense of like it gives you lots of volume or length, but I'm gonna use Lashes, so it will do just enough to make my eyelashes dark. So they can support the lashes. Okay. So now I'm gonna do some lashes. Highly recommend doing lashes on your wedding day. I think they make such a difference. I'm just gonna use the Duo Lash Glue. It's super cheap, it works great. So I just like to put a little dollop on the back of my hand. I like to use these got a little messed up, but these are the Ardell individual lashes. These are the short ones. So I'm gonna start with the short, and I like to hold them like this so that I can pull down and then immediately place it on my eye. So I'm gonna pull it off, just dip it in the glue. And just set it down. It definitely can be really tricky to get the hang of, but practice definitely makes perfect. But I think it's really helpful to look down into a mirror, so you're kind of giving yourself room to work and you can see what you're doing. So just one by one, placing them on. And I'm doing these more towards the inner portion of the eye. And then I am gonna do some medium length on the outer portion. I love these because I think they look so natural. Because like right now you see the white dots, but they dry clear, so you won't have like a black band, like a plastic looking band. So in my opinion, I think these look a lot better, a lot more natural than the strip ones do. So I'm gonna switch to some medium. A lot of brides, I just do the short all the way across. and it just gives you a really natural effect. I am someone who, I'm comfortable wearing makeup. I don't want to look heavy by any means, but I am like okay seeing myself in makeup, if you know what I mean. Some people never wear it, and so it kind of freaks them out to see themselves with lashes for the first time, but I've worn them before. It doesn't freak me out. So I feel like I can go a little bit longer and I still like how it looks. So just doing my best to kind of get them all laying straight. I will go back and curl them all together just to kind of like really combine them. But you can do them as thick as you want. You can really build it up. You could just do a few on the end. It's really up to you. Okay, so I'm just gonna do the other eye. Okay, so I have lashes on both eyes. I'm gonna let them sit for a minute. And then I'll come back and kind of touch them up. So I'm gonna take that glue off my hand. Okay, so I did that moisturizing primer, and then I'm gonna do a little bit of this primer from Tatcha, the Silk Canvas. I also did not wear my nose ring on my wedding day. It was a big debate. I really wasn't sure. I got it pierced like when I was 18, and I kind of forget that it's there. And I'm like, well, it's like part of me, but then do I want it, you know, in all of my photos for forever? I don't know. So I'm just taking like just a tiny little bit of that primer, and I'm gonna go kind of like where I have bigger pores in my, like on my cheeks, a little bit on my nose, just to really like smooth it out and kind of do a little bit of a pressing motion. So wherever I need to be smoothed out between my eyebrows. Like I said, I broke out really bad on my wedding, before my wedding, and it was fine. And that's why you hire makeup artists, because they can cover it up. So I really love to use the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Foundation. And I don't know what color I am right now, but I will say I was a lot more tan then than I am now. This is the color 1 and 2 Vanille. We'll try that. So I just squirted a little bit on the back of my hand, and then I'm gonna do just a drop of this Tatcha Gold Beauty Oil. This is a good trick if you are someone who's a little bit more dry. Just a drop of oil will help everything to just glide on a lot easier. And it keeps, you know, when you wear makeup for a really long time and it kind of dries out your skin, it helps prevent that. And I'm gonna start in the perimeter of my face. This is just a paddle foundation brush from Bobbi Brown. So I have my damp beauty blender, and I'm gonna start kind of laying this on. And then I'm gonna go in with the sponge and blend it out. So the sponge helps if there's like too much product, it will soak it up so you don't end up with like a cakey face. if you are planning to do your own makeup on your wedding day, I would definitely practice a lot beforehand. That's something that I never did. I kept saying to myself, I'm gonna do do a trial run for myself with because I did my own hair as well. Like I'm gonna do a trial run, test like different hair and makeup looks, and I literally did not do it one time. I just made it up. It worked out fine, but okay, so now that we have foundation on, I'm gonna do some concealer. And I don't have my correct shade right now, so I'm just gonna mix together a couple shades that I already have. I like to use the Tarte Shape Tape. As you can see, I have pretty severe dark circles under my eyes, so having a good concealer makes all the difference. And on a normal day, I might not do this much concealer, but it is your wedding day, so you want to be looking your best. And I'm going to blend out with that beauty sponge again. We're being careful around that part that we just did, not to totally erase it, but to kind of sharpen it up. And then I'm gonna see like what spots. I have a scar on my chin, some breakouts. Okay, so next I'm gonna go in with some powder. So this is the loose powder from Mer. It's super expensive, you definitely don't need it, but it is really, really nice. And I'm going to just dunk this into the powder and get a good coat and press it underneath my eyes. It is a lot of powder, but again, it's not an everyday look. This is, you know, I'm doing my makeup at 11 o'clock in the morning and I need it to last until 11 o'clock at night type of look. So, as you saw, I put a thick layer under my eyes, and then I kind of do like around my nose, on my chin, because like I normally get spots on my chin, so I want that makeup especially to stay right there. And then I am going to go back in with that Hourglass powder that I was using earlier. This powder has a little bit of a glow to it. I'm gonna go in, so I'm gonna get powder on my brush, and I'm gonna use that to sweep away the excess powder under my eyes. I find that using powders that have like a radiance to them really keeps your skin from looking dull. I'm gonna go in with a fluffier brush and just kind of dust this all over the face. But I find that the powders that have a glow to them make you look dewier, healthier, kind of like gives your skin like a creamy, like soft focus while still like setting everything. It just doesn't make you look too dry. I'm gonna go in with a bronzer. This is also one from Hourglass. I think they make the best powdered products. This is the Luminous Bronze Light in a different, still kind of fluffy brush. And I'm just gonna take that along my hairline. Just to kind of warm everything up. I don't know why, but I think there's something so pretty about a bronzed forehead. And then along the cheeks. So it looks like I've been out in the sun. A little bit under my jawline, down the neck. Okay, and then I used some blush. This is the Hourglass Luminous Flush blush. Looks like this, and put that on the apples of my cheeks, blending backwards. I like a lot of blush. I think it makes you look really healthy. And you can always go back with that big powder brush if you feel like something isn't totally blended, and it will just kind of blend everything, smooth it all out. Then I'm gonna do a little bit of highlight. This is my NARS Fort de France highlighter. It's the best highlighter ever. Do that. Cheekbones, I like to do it above my eyebrow, above the other eyebrow. A little bit on my nose. The thing about wedding makeup is it should be just what makes you feel really pretty, whatever that is for you. For me, I like to have makeup on. I like to look done, but I don't want anything that's too heavy. So for me, this was like my ideal kind of situation, but for you, it might look totally different. So I'm gonna go with this fluffier brush, and I'm gonna go back in with that shade Freckle, that kind of medium brown, and I'm just gonna drag that underneath my eye. I like a really blown out under eye eyeshadow. While I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna put on a little bit of lip balm. This is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hydrating Lip Treatment, hyaluronic acid, so good. Okay, well that's soaking in. Feeling good about my skin. All there really is left is eyebrows, and then I'm gonna do lipstick. For brows, I'm gonna take this is just a spoolie to brush them out. And then I'm gonna go in with a little bit of brow powder. This is the brow powder from Laura Mercier. It just has two different colors. I'm gonna go in with the lighter one, the more blonde one. I have really large eyebrows naturally, so I'm not trying to make them any bigger, just maybe shape them a little bit more nicely. Fill in any gaps. one of the funniest moments in my career was I was doing this bridesmaid's makeup, and I always ask, like, you know, do you normally fill in your eyebrows? Because I'm just trying to gauge what you're used to, because if you're like, yes, I fill them in every day, like that means something different than if you're like, I've never done it before. And she was like, yes, I fill them in sometimes, but I don't want them to be super big and overdrawn like yours. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, so normally I'd never fill them in, I just put clear gel. And I was like, well, the funny thing is that this is just how they grow out of my face. These are actually my real eyebrows. But it's all good. So as you can see, I'm really just giving them a little more definition. And I feel like my arch is not super defined, so I'm giving a little more attention there as well, just to shape it out. I think watching people fill in their eyebrows is the most boring thing in the entire world, so I apologize. All right, feeling good about that. Okay, so I'm gonna do, if I can get it open, a coat of, this is just the MAC Clear Brow Set. It's a clear brow gel, just to hold them in place. I like when they're kind of scruffy. I think it's really cute and, I don't know, youthful. But you know, not everyone's vibe, and that's okay. So before lips, I'm gonna do, first of all, I'm gonna give my eyelashes a little curl, so the lashes and, like the fake lashes and my lashes, kind of give them a curl together. Just kind of combines them a little bit more. Just the one little squeeze will do, because they're not normal eyelashes, they're fake, so they curl really easily. I'm gonna do just a really light coat of mascara on my lower eyelashes. Careful not to look down so I don't smudge that. And then for my lips, I actually bought this lip color specifically to use on my wedding day, and then I forgot it. Like, I left it at my house and I didn't have it the place where I was getting ready, so I was kind of sad about it, but obviously it's not that big of a deal. But I'm gonna use it today, so I'm going to line my lips with, this is a Laura Mercier lip liner in the color Naked, and just give them a little bit of shape. I don't have a very defined Cupid's bow. Like, my lip, it's naturally like pretty straight across, so I don't try to make it anything that it's not. I used to do that when I was younger, like make it really sharp, and it just looked so bad. Okay, and then for me, like on myself, I like really peachy warm tones, but of course that's not for everyone. But this was my, you know, my wedding makeup look. So this lip color is my favorite one. It's the liquid lipstick from Charlotte Tilbury, and the color is Platinum Blonde. So I'm just gonna do that. Okay. And I didn't do a gloss on top, I just did the matte lipstick. I felt like it would last so much better. Because it's not like, I don't know, on your wedding day, realistically, like, you're kissing, you're eating, you're drinking, like, the gloss is just not gonna last as long. So honestly, neither thing is gonna last that long, but unless you're constantly retouching. But it's like, do you really want to spend time worrying about your lipstick on your wedding day? Probably not. At least that's what I always say to my brides. I'm like, yes, I'll give you a lip touch up, like, totally happy to do that, but realistically, like, you're probably gonna forget about it. So I feel like that's one reason why it's really nice to choose a lip color that is like low key, and if it wears off, it's not gonna like ruin your look. Now that I have lips on, I feel like I want a little bit more blush, so I'm just gonna do just a touch more. I feel like that's a good tip, is once you're kind of done, especially like once you have lipstick on, to kind of reevaluate, because I feel like you can tell more like what, I don't know, how the balance is, how to balance it out. So I think that that's pretty much the look. It's how I did my own wedding makeup. I hope this was helpful. So the funny thing is that my husband, his name is Guy, we got married twice. We technically got married 4 times, but we had 2 weddings. He's from Brazil, so we had our American wedding in July, which is what this look is, and then we got married in Brazil in December. We're obviously extremely blessed to be able to do that. And so I did a totally different look for that. So I did a totally different look for the Brazilian wedding. So it was really fun to get to do 2 totally different things. And I did, like I said, my hair down in waves for the American wedding, and I did an updo for the other one. And Brazilian weddings tend to be a lot more formal than American ones. Like, at least our wedding was like an outdoor ceremony, and just a little bit more of like a casual feel. So, and there's like, in Brazil, our ceremony didn't even start until 8 o'clock, and it was, you know, in the Catholic church and in this really, really stunning venue, like the really beautiful kind of banquet hall. So, and when Brazilians dress up, they tend to wear more makeup and kind of just do like a little bit more dramatic looks than Americans do. So it was really fun. I was like, all right, like, let's lean into it. Let's, you know, in an American wedding, it's not as common to wear like glitter or, you know, a winged eyeliner or whatever it is. So it was fun to get to do both, because I obviously love makeup and I do love to wear glitter and all those things. So I would love to make that tutorial at some point. But anyways, I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any recommendations, or if you have any like requests of something that you would want to see me do. I hope you're well, and have a good one.